when I slid the divorce papers across the table toward my husband. I clearly saw him freeze for a moment. Just a moment. For a man like him, someone who could face the collapse of a mountain without blinking, even that 1-second pause felt like a milestone to me. He picked up the agreement and began to read. 10 minutes later, he looked up. "Have you made up your mind?" I nodded. "I have." He calmly took the pen from the side, signed his name, and said evenly, "All right, but there's a 1-month cooling-off period before the divorce is finalized. During that time, can the child stay with me? When it's over, I'll send her back to you myself. I promise I won't fight for custody." He pushed the agreement back to me. "Fine," I said. I smiled, took the papers, and looked at his face for a few long seconds, memorizing it one last time, before turning away and leaving. A clean start and a clean ending. Perhaps that's the best closure one could give to a long, unspoken crush. Chapter 1. Elias and I met through a family introduction. The moment I saw him for the first time, it felt like a pie had fallen from the sky, because he was the senior I had secretly loved for 2 years. I had thought that after graduation, we would never cross paths again, but unexpectedly, I ended up on a blind date with him. What followed was simple. I agreed immediately, and he didn't object. After a year of dating, we got married. A year after that, we had a daughter, nicknamed Sophia. I chose that name because her father's personality was too cold. I didn't want our child to inherit that trait, so I gave her a warm name to balance it out. But I hadn't expected Sophia to turn out to have quite a temper. She was the complete opposite of her father. Elias couldn't understand it. He often said Sophia's personality didn't resemble either of us. But I knew the truth. She got it from me. My so-called calmness was only ever an act. 3 years after our marriage, Elias missed New Year's Eve again. I watched the fireworks with Sophia and kissed her little cheek. She giggled from the ticklish kiss and said, "Mommy, you're bad." I hugged her tighter and let 2 tears fall onto her bunny hat. I didn't want to part from Sophia either, but I knew that only by staying with Elias could she live a stable life, receive the best education, and have the privileges she deserved, not follow her mother, who had already decided to divorce, into an uncertain world. Chapter 2. On the 16th day of the Lunar New Year, I handed the divorce papers to Elias. He didn't ask me why. He simply signed his name. We'd gotten our marriage certificate, lived out our years together, and once I received the divorce certificate, the circle of my secret love would finally be complete. Back home, I packed my things and took Sophia with me. Sophia might have a fiery temper, but she's also obedient, unusually well-behaved. On the train, she didn't cry or fuss. She sat quietly in my lap, watching the scenery fly by outside the window. An older lady sitting nearby was utterly charmed by her, praising her beauty and her manners. Sophia stretched out her little hand and patted the woman's arm. "Hello, Grandma," she said in her soft baby voice. The entire carriage melted. A young woman leaned over, smiling. "Hey, I took a video of your daughter. She's adorable. Would you mind if I posted it on my social feed?" Before I could answer, Sophia nodded solemnly. "You can." The girl squealed softly in delight. I laughed too. My daughter already said yes, so yes. Chapter 3. I took Sophia to Xi'an, ready to enjoy a month of freedom ahead. Sophia was my little eating companion and travel buddy. I placed her tiny hand in my palm. It was so small and adorable. I took a picture and posted it on my social media. Off on a trip with my travel buddy. Not even 3 minutes later, my phone rang. I answered. "Where did you take Sophia?" Holding Sophia in my arms, I kissed her cheek. "We're in Xi'an. I'm planning to have some fun with her. Don't let her play too wild. Be careful. Don't go out at night. Come back to the hotel early." I hummed in acknowledgement, a little surprised. Since when did Elias start reminding people so gently? Still, I didn't think much of it. "I know. Do you have any friends in Xi'an?" Elias asked. I was taken aback. I hadn't even thought about that. But to make him feel like Sophia and I were safe enough, I casually said, "Yeah, I've got friends here." "Of course you do." Before I could figure out what he meant by that, he hung up. What was that about? Still, he gave me a new idea. I decided to post another story to see if anyone I knew was in Xi'an. When I checked the previous post, it already had a ton of likes. One comment, in particular, caught my eye. "Senior, where are you? Mind if I join you for a meal?" I immediately called him. "Senior, you're in Xi'an?" "Yeah, and you came here without saying a word? Didn't your husband come with you?" "No, he's busy. I came with my kid." He chuckled twice. "Your husband's always that busy." "Huh? Never seems to have time for you." "What can I do? He's busy making money for me." I didn't add the rest. "He's earning my alimony." The next day, I took Sophia to have lunch with my senior. Sophia could already use chopsticks by herself. The senior watched her behave so well that he couldn't help but adore her. "Can I be her godfather?" he asked. Before I could say anything, Sophia raised her hand. "Okay." "Me? Not my fault." Sophia appointed her own godfather. That afternoon, Sophia was completely absorbed in the mountain of plush toys Pablo had bought her. "Senior, you're spoiling her too much. You can't just buy everything she says she likes. There's so much. I don't even know how to bring it all back." Sophia looked at me with teary eyes, afraid I wouldn't help her take the toys home. Then she turned to Pablo. "Godfather." Pablo immediately declared, "Godfather will handle it for you. Don't worry." Sophia was delighted and snuggled up to Pablo to keep playing. I was fuming. This little charmer knew exactly how to win people over. After taking a photo of the two of them together, I posted it online again. Ugh, I've lost my place in her heart. Chapter 4. A minute later, Elias called. "The plush toys, did Pablo buy them for her?" "Me? Was he watching my social media this whole time?" "Yes." "Why?" Elias let out a mocking laugh on the other end. "You're traveling, not moving house. Why buy so many toys? What's your plan now? How are you going to deal with this? Do you have any practical solution?" My mind went blank. Here it comes, the daily lecture. Nothing to say? Next time, try using your brain. And what were you thinking? Letting Sophia sit so close to Pablo? She's your daughter. How could you let her sit that close to a strange man? What if Pablo has bad intentions or some kind of mental illness? If something happens to Sophia, I'd like to see how much you'll regret it. I could feel my heart pounding fast, and my hands were trembling. What nonsense was Elias talking about? How could he curse his own daughter like that? Do you even know what you're saying? Are you even human? Cursing your own child? I swallowed down the rest of my words, mindful that Pablo was right there. At that moment, Sophia ran into my arms and climbed onto my crossed legs. "Mommy, look at this bear. It's so cute. Play with me." "Mommy, don't talk on the phone anymore." Her voice snapped me out of my daze. Right, why was I still listening to Elias's twisted, manipulative lectures? I was already divorcing him, if there's nothing else. I'm hanging up. I ended the call. To be honest, when we first got married, I didn't feel much about Elias. But over time, I realized he was a master of emotional manipulation and psychological control, gaslighting me without my even noticing. He never praised me, not once. The moment something didn't go his way, he'd immediately start making sarcastic comments and spouting distorted logic. My friends said his behavior toward me was pure control. I knew it wasn't healthy. Before I completely lost myself, I had to get away from him. That's why I decided to divorce. I looked down at my daughter sitting in my lap, playing with her little bear. Elias used to be good to Sophia, but if I, the emotional punching bag, left, would he start treating her the same way he treated me? 4 years, I'd stayed home raising our child. After graduating from college, I never really engaged with society again. In this state, I wasn't confident I could raise Sophia on my own. I still remembered what Elias said when I first brought up divorce. "Without me, you're nothing. You can't do anything. Don't overestimate yourself. Sure, you were impressive back in school, but the real world isn't like school. Don't think your tricks will work here. Think carefully. If you're really serious about divorcing, bring me the papers. If you're just trying to threaten me, I'll give you an out, and we'll pretend today never happened." He probably never expected that 3 days later, I'd actually show up with the divorce agreement, and I never expected him to agree so readily. But looking back at his expression that day, I guess he just wanted to see how miserable I'd become without him. Chapter 5. Godfather. How are you going to help me take all these toys home? I want to bring all of them back, Sophia asked, tugging at her little braids. There are many ways, Pablo replied with a smile. Godfather can pack them for you and send them as checked luggage. Or I can have someone drive you home. Or just ship them by courier. It's easy. Leave everything to me, I'll take care of it. Sophia clapped her hands excitedly. Mommy, Godfather is amazing. He's even better than Daddy. Daddy only says Mommy is dumb and never helps her think of solutions. I immediately choked on my own saliva. Sophia, don't talk nonsense. Sophia pouted. I'm not talking nonsense. Daddy really says that. He says, can't you use your brain? Is it just for decoration? My face turned red instantly. How could she just blurt that out? Pablo tactfully changed the subject. Isn't Sophia's IQ a bit too high? She's only 2 years old and already expresses herself this well. Hearing that, I couldn't help but feel a little proud. I think so too. She's amazing. But we tested her IQ, it's just average. Maybe she's just a little cleverer than most. I still remembered the time I accidentally overheard Sophia reciting Li Qingxiao's Dreamlike all on her own while playing with her toys. I was so shocked that I immediately took her to get her IQ tested. I thought she was a genius. But the results came back normal. Her IQ wasn't particularly high. When I told Elias, he said it was his genes that made Sophia smart, but my genes that limited her potential. And I, foolishly, believed him. I even felt deeply guilty, thinking I was the one holding her back. Later, when chatting with my neighbor, she outright cursed Elias, calling him a delusional narcissist. Then she spent an hour giving me a full-on pep talk, convincing me that I was actually amazing. Thinking about it now, I kind of miss that neighbor. Over the past 2 years, she's been the one constantly helping and encouraging me. If it weren't for her, I probably never would have had the courage to divorce Elias. Years of marriage had made me forget how lively I used to be. I tried so hard to live up to Elias's and his parents' idea of the perfect wife and mother. What a terrible mistake that was. Chapter 6. Mommy, Godfather said he's taking us out to play tomorrow. I patted her little head. Senior, you don't have to trouble yourself. I can take Sophia myself. She's very well behaved. Sophia smiled, hugging my arm. Sophia is the best girl. She stood up and rubbed her cheek against mine, and I held her close, laughing happily. You've just arrived in Xi'an and don't know your way around, Pablo said. Let me show you around first. It's the weekend anyway. I've got plenty of time. I can accompany you both. Hearing that, Sophia stretched out her short little arms and clapped her hands. Godfather is so nice. Daddy never takes me out on weekends. He just stays home playing games. Godfather is better than Daddy. Can Godfather be my daddy instead? I quickly covered her mouth. Sorry, Senior. Children say whatever comes to mind. Pablo laughed and waved it off. Sophia really is the smartest kid I've ever met. Don't say no. I'll come pick you up tomorrow. You two should rest first. He stood up. Sophia, Godfather is going home now. Sleep well. And after you've had a good rest, I'll take you out tomorrow. Sophia, still with my hand over her mouth, couldn't speak, but she waved her little hands enthusiastically, nodding to show she understood. After he left, I held Sophia and set her down in front of me, sitting cross-legged on the carpet. Our eyes were level. Sophia, you can't just say everything that pops into your head, okay? Sophia's lips trembled, and then she burst into tears. Wah wah. My heart softened immediately. I hurried to pull her into my arms. Between sobs, she whimpered. Daddy's bad. I don't like him. Godfather's good. I like Godfather. I sighed and hugged her tighter. What am I going to do? If she finds out that I'm divorcing her father and that I'm not taking her with me, will she fall apart? Sophia soon fell asleep, but I couldn't. I didn't want to give Sophia to Elias. Yes, she'd have financial security with him. But what if he twisted her thinking? What if such a wonderful little girl ended up being raised wrong? But I had no income. That was my fatal flaw. I couldn't give Sophia the best life. If I kept her with me, we'd just live off what little we had until it was gone. Chapter 7. Early the next morning, when I woke up, Sophia was sitting beside me holding my phone. Sophia, why are you holding my phone? Sophia handed it to me. Godfather called. I told him mommy was sleeping and that you'd call him back when you woke up. I took the phone and called Pablo back, arranging to meet him downstairs at the hotel in half an hour. Today, Sophia had clipped 2 little cat ears onto her head. She looked absolutely adorable. When Pablo saw us, he showered Sophia with compliments, making her beam with delight. After a whole day of playing, Sophia was drenched in sweat. I took her back to the hotel, worried she might catch a cold. But when I opened the door to our room, I saw Elias sitting on the sofa. The backpack slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a thud. Sophia, who had been dozing on my shoulder, startled at the sound. She turned her head and saw her father. I could have sworn I heard a faint little "what the hell?" Me? But when I looked at Sophia, she was just staring blankly at Elias, so maybe I imagined it. Elias casually tossed the plush toy in his hand. It rolled off the sofa and fell onto the carpet. Didn't I tell you not to go out at night? Do you even realize what could have happened if you two ran into some bad people? If you don't care about yourself, fine, but Sophia is innocent. Why should she suffer because of you? I set Sophia down on the bed, grabbed my phone, and while typing a message, I said softly, Sophia, if you're sleepy, go back to sleep, okay? Sophia let out a little okay and soon drifted off. After tossing my phone aside, I looked at Elias. What are you doing here? He let out a mocking laugh. Came to take Sophia home. Since clearly you don't know how to raise her. Looks like she's still fine, but you've gone wild. I smiled right back. Since she was born, I haven't seen you do much parenting. I've been the one taking care of her. You've never even changed a single diaper or fed her once. And you're telling me I don't know how to raise her? If I don't, do you? Elias's face darkened. Who taught you to talk like that? Where's that gentle woman I married? I married you because you were obedient. Look at you now. What have you become? Must be those friends of yours filling your head with nonsense. Don't you know a wife is supposed to follow her husband? Thinking back on these 3 years of marriage, I honestly felt sick to my stomach. Elias, you've really disappointed me. Elias froze. Those were the exact words he always said to me. This time, I threw them back at him. When he realized what I meant, his expression immediately darkened. Olivia, what do you mean by that? What do you mean I've disappointed you? How have I disappointed you? Who are you to say that? What right do you have to use that word? I smiled. Elias, so you do understand the power of that word. Huh? You break down after hearing it once. But have you ever thought about the dozens, maybe hundreds of times you've said it to me over the past 3 years? I've endured it all, and now, I'm finally free. Turns out I was too naive. I thought that following your expectations, living by your parents' standards, being the perfect wife, that was what I was supposed to do. Now I see how stupid that was. If it weren't for Sophia giving me something to hold on to, you and your family would have turned me into a useless fool who can't do anything. Did you think you'd broken me so much that I could only stay home and look after the kid, like some idiot who's useless once she steps outside? Elias's face twisted, as if my words had hit a nerve. The divorce papers are already signed. I said coldly, so it's inappropriate for you to stay in my room. You should leave. Elias glanced at Sophia, who was sleeping soundly on the bed. I'm taking her with me. I blocked his way. You promised I could have her for this month. Elias looked at my hand on his arm, then grabbed me roughly. I've changed my mind. I'm taking her now. Let's see if you can still enjoy your little vacation in Xi'an while abandoning your daughter like a heartless mother. As he spoke, he rushed forward and scooped Sophia into his arms. Sophia was startled awake and immediately started wailing. Mommy! I want mommy. I don't want you. I want mommy. I lunged to pull her back, but Elias was too strong. Holding the child, he started toward the door. I grabbed him from behind. Put Sophia down. You're scaring her. Sophia was crying so hard she could barely breathe. I screamed, pulling on Elias's arm, and just as we reached the doorway, the door opened. Pablo appeared. I felt instant relief. Earlier, I had messaged him to come back and help me, and he did. I'd even left the door unlocked, wedging it with the room card, taking advantage of Elias's brief shock. Pablo snatched Sophia from his arms. Seeing Pablo, Sophia cried even louder. Godfather, save me! Daddy wants to kill me. Elias, what the hell are you talking about? You little brat? Godfather, call the police. Godfather, tell the police to arrest him. Lock him up. Pablo, seeing Sophia's terrified face, was furious. Elias, this is how you act as a husband and a father. Elias actually laughed. Enraged. Well, isn't this something? Olivia, not only did you cheat, but you let my kid call another man dad? You really outdid yourself. What's next? You need your lover to save you now? Just proves me right. You can't do anything on your own. When you were married, you depended on me. Now that you're divorced, you still need a man. Furious, I slapped him across the face. Elias, are you insane? Do you get off on insulting me? For 3 years you manipulated me, humiliated me, and that still wasn't enough? We've already divorced. Can't you just let me go? Did I dig up your grave in a past life? Is that why you're torturing me in this one? Elias recovered from the slap and shoved me hard, raising his hand to strike. He moved too fast. Pablo, holding Sophia, couldn't react in time. I closed my eyes, ready for the hit. But then, stop! What do you think you're doing? 2 police officers burst into the room and stopped Elias in his tracks. Everyone froze. How had the police shown up? Before any of us could react, Sophia was the first to respond. Uncle Police, help me! Daddy wants to kill me. He wants to hit Mommy too. Please save us. I'm still little, I don't want to die. Me? Had she been watching some kind of melodramatic short drama lately? The police, hearing kill, didn't waste a second. They took all of us to the station. Turns out they were doing a random hotel inspection and heard shouting upstairs. Thinking something serious had happened, they rushed in, and just like that, they hauled all of us off to the police station. Their body cameras had been recording the entire time, capturing everything, including Elias raising his hand to hit me. Sophia, sobbing, sat in a policewoman's arms, passionately accusing her own father. Listening to her, it honestly sounded like she was dumping a whole bucket of mud on his head. He hits Mommy, yells at Mommy, doesn't let her have friends, locks her up at home, says she's stupid, says she cheats. I covered my face, mortified. Where was she even learning all this? It definitely wasn't from me. Pablo, meanwhile, was looking at Sophia in awe. Are you sure that IQ test was accurate? Me, thinking back on all the strange things Sophia had said and done, a chill ran through me. Was this child really mine? Elias's face had gone completely white. Are you out of your damn mind? Sophia? Shut up. I'm your father. What lies are you spouting? Did your mother tell you to say this? The policewoman glared at him. Finish your statement properly. She's barely 2 years old. You really think she's lying? I guiltily lowered my head. Thankfully, Sophia didn't have to give an official statement, otherwise, I wouldn't have known how to explain any of it. In the end, Elias was officially charged with domestic violence. I saw Sophia's lips curve upward into a triumphant little smile. Chapter 8. I carried Sophia back to the hotel. Elias had managed to get a room card by showing his ID and our marriage certificate. The receptionist thought we were on vacation together, so they gave him access. When I returned, the front desk apologized repeatedly. I wasn't angry, it wasn't really their fault. I packed my bags, took Sophia, and went straight to the hotel Pablo had booked for us. Sitting on the sofa, holding Sophia in my arms, I stared blankly into space. Sophia reached out her tiny hand and patted my cheek. I looked down at her, hesitated, and asked softly, Sophia, are you really Sophia? She blinked, then smiled brightly, her expression pure and sweet. Yes, she said. I'm Sophia, here to help Mommy. That simple, innocent answer broke me. I wrapped my arms around her tightly and started to cry. Chapter 9. After spending a few days taking Sophia out, I happened to see a video blow up online. It was the clip of us on the train. Sophia sat so obediently, not fussing at all. The comments went wild. Isn't this encouraging people to have kids? I want one like this. Oh my God. Are well-behaved kids really like this? So polite. That cute little baby voice. Wow. Her mother has such grace. Can someone find this mother? I want to see more of this kid. Can she open an account? I showed the video to Sophia. She giggled. 2 days later I got a call. A mother and baby brand wanted us to shoot an ad. They'd seen the clip and thought Sophia and I were perfect. They'd hunted until they found my contact and invited us to audition. At first I didn't want to go. Then Sophia said, "Mommy, you can raise Sophia now." That hit me like a splash of cold water. If I had a way to earn money, I could support Sophia and take her away. After the hotel incident, there was no way I'd leave Sophia with Elias. I thought he had violent tendencies. I feared he would hurt her. So I messaged Elias. I told him I was going to divorce and take Sophia. He refused and said, "Olivia, come home and behave. Don't divorce. Weren't we happy as a family of 3? Why are you making a fuss about divorce?" "But you agreed to the divorce," I replied. He panicked. "That was because I thought you were pretending. You wanted to rebel, threatening divorce to force me. I thought during the cooling off period you'd change your mind. Who knew the first day I saw Pablo's thing on your moments, him fawning over you, didn't you get it?" I smiled bitterly. "Elias, you're hopeless." "Olivia, I'm telling you I don't consent to divorce. The cooling off period isn't over. I don't agree, so you can't leave." I took a breath. "Elias, we can't go on. After everything that's happened, we can't go back. And frankly, I don't want to go back. I'm done with that life. If I don't agree, you'll see one day how good I was to you. You don't know society. You don't understand anything. People are dangerous out there. You don't have a skill. Even if you divorce, you'll only survive on the settlement and alimony I give you. Do you really think you can raise yourself and Sophia by yourself? You don't need to worry about that. I won't consent." He hung up. I knew he changed his mind. The divorce would be hard. I gritted my teeth and called his father. If he refuses to sign, I will sue for divorce. If I sue, I'll present evidence of his domestic violence, the police body cam footage. If you care about the family's reputation, make Elias sign the papers. Otherwise I'll make this public and let your friends know your son is a wife beater. His father exploded at me, yelling, "Poisonous woman! Poisonous woman!" Chapter 10. In the end, I finally got the divorce. Elias's father forced him to go through with the paperwork after the cooling off period and personally made sure he handed over the divorce certificate. Just like that, I left the man who had spent years belittling me, manipulating me psychologically, and convincing me that I was worthless. Only after taking Sophia to Zian did I truly understand what it meant to live. Once the weight on my mind was lifted, my whole body felt lighter. My insomnia disappeared. Even my chronic headaches were gone. The commercial Sophia and I shot turned out to be a huge success. After that, endorsement offers came one after another. Sophia's expressiveness stunned everyone. They all called her a prodigy, watching her so at ease in front of the camera. I couldn't help but smile. Thank you, Sophia, for protecting me in this life. Chapter 11, Sophia's Perspective. My name is Sophia. I'm 20 years old, and just moments ago, my mother took her own life because of depression. I know exactly who's responsible. My cold, manipulative father. For more than 2 decades, he crushed her spirit through constant mental abuse and emotional control. I never felt close to him. In fact, I despised him. In 20 years, not once did I hear him praise my mom. He only knew how to take, enjoying the comfort she provided while treating her like a servant. At home, he barked orders like an emperor, never showing a shred of respect for anyone. I tried to save my mom, but after being under his psychological grip for so long, her mind had grown fragile, her hope nearly gone. I couldn't pull her out of that darkness. Only today did I realize I was probably her only reason to live. Now that I'm in college and have a loving boyfriend, she must have felt she could finally rest. After entrusting me to him, she swallowed a bottle of pills and ended her life. I cried for 3 days straight, begging the heavens to make it a dream. I wanted her to come back. Then, one day, I fainted from exhaustion, and when I opened my eyes again, I was a baby. The first face I saw was my father's, younger, smug, and disgustingly familiar. How unlucky. I had been reborn. I yanked at my baby hair. Ouch. It hurt. So this wasn't a dream. I screamed with all my might until he carried me to my mother's arms. The moment I saw her, I cried even harder. This time, I swore I would save her. I'd change her fate. I'd keep her far away from that monster. In my past life, my mother suffered from postpartum depression. In this life, I decided that even before I could control my bladder, I'd control my emotions. I became the most obedient baby in history. Slept early, woke early, never cried, never fussed. To put it bluntly, she couldn't possibly develop postpartum depression with a baby like me. Then I started implementing my rescue plan. For example, I used my chubby little fingers to secretly unlock her phone, searching for terms like emotional abuse, domestic violence, gaslighting, psychological control, and possessive partners, just to make sure all the apps would start recommending her related content. At 1.5 years, I crawled into the neighbor's garden so she'd have to come looking for me. That way, she met the neighbor, a confident, outspoken woman who never tolerated self-blame. With her influence, my mom would start to see through my dad's manipulation. And how did I know all this? Because that neighbor was my future boyfriend's mom. Yes, the snot-nosed toddler drooling in the crib next door was my boyfriend in the last life. In my past life, my father isolated my mother completely. She had no friends, no outside contact. When depression hit, there was no one to help her. This time, I vowed to change that. I became the ultimate social butterfly. My mission: help mom build her own support network. She often said I was too lively, not shy at all. If only she knew how much pressure I was under. This tiny body was carrying a lifetime of responsibility. After a year of hard work, she finally began to notice dad's emotional manipulation, and I took credit for that. I'd often sneak over to my future mother-in-law's house, telling her stories, half true, half exaggerated, about my dad's cruelty. So when she saw my mom, she'd naturally sympathize and encourage her. My plan worked perfectly. Eventually, my mom filed for divorce. I secretly listened from behind the wall, as she told my dad she'd take me traveling for a month, and then bring me back after the cooling-off period. No way. There was no way I'd go back to that man. So during that month, I had to help mom rediscover her worth, and maybe find a way to make money. That's why I waved the little terracotta warrior figurine that my future mother-in-law had given me in front of mom's eyes for a whole month, subtly planting the word Xian in her mind. Why Xian? Because I knew there was a man there who loved her, the man who cried uncontrollably when she died. He was in his 40s and had never married. So I wanted mom to go to Xian. Maybe fate would let her find happiness there. And it worked. She took me to Xian. On the train, a girl filmed us. I recognized her immediately. She was a popular influencer. So when she asked if she could post the video online, I nodded right away. If her video went viral, then we would go viral. And if we went viral, earning money would be easy. In Xian, we spent a few days with my godfather Pablo. I kept telling mom how much better he was than dad. 10,000 times better. To be exact, everything was going perfectly, until that cold-blooded father of mine showed up in Xian. I hadn't seen that coming, but so what? Thanks to my well-timed smear campaign, he left with the reputation of an abusive husband, which made it easier for mom to divorce him. Poetic justice. Afterward, just as I hoped, our video went viral. We shot commercials, made money, and built a life together. Everything turned out almost perfect, except one thing. Godfather was way too subtle in pursuing mom. So subtle she didn't even notice he was in love with her. Oh, and one more thing. In my past life, my dad never let mom take me out to play with other kids. That's why my boyfriend and I only met in college, and only then discovered our families had once been neighbors. So when I saw my future mother-in-law traveling to Xian, with the same chubby-nosed little boy by her side, was this my chance to live out the childhood sweethearts storyline? I played with the 1 year younger, round-faced little boy, helping him with his toys, while eavesdropping on mom and my future mother-in-law chatting happily nearby. As for dad, He eventually remarried under family pressure. Then he tried the same manipulation tactics again, but his second wife beat him so badly. He ended up in the hospital. Apparently, she was a Muay Thai fighter. She even told people, "I'm not divorcing him. If I leave, he'll just torment another woman. Better I keep him at home as a punching bag." Quite convenient. Actually, hearing that, I couldn't stop laughing. Even wiping my future boyfriend's runny nose didn't bother me one bit.